So growing up and into my adult life, I've always been kind of a compartmentalizer when it comes to my emotions and issues, and I can always put on a happy face no matter what is going on in my life. I might be praying about those things, but I don't always share them with people. That was traditionally how I had lived my life. And everything had worked out. I was able to successfully compartmentalize all the issues that might have been going on in my life and just kind of move on and get through the day and get through my life, get through my job, relationships that I was in. In 2011, my cousin, who was my best friend, got diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. And I saw him struggle through about 2.5 years, the next 2.5 years of his life, and before he eventually passed away. And I never truly dealt with those feelings. I remained pretty stoic through that whole situation, never really admitted to how much that affected me. Not long after that, my wife, and actually during that process, my wife and I had been trying to start our family and have our own children. And then at some point, not long after my cousin passed away, I discovered that I was experiencing infertility. We decided, okay, well, we can adopt children, we can move on, and this was always kind of a thought for us anyway. That would always be an option for us, something that we were actually leaning towards. But I just moved on with it and never really dealt with the fact that I was experiencing infertility and that I would not be able to have my own children. I never stopped. I just kind of compartmentalized that and moved on. And Satan is very good, as you know, at making us believe that we're the only ones going through this, or we should, Satan was attacking me and saying, just man up, you can get through this. This is too embarrassing to share with anybody else that you're going through these issues. And I started dealing with feelings of inadequacy that maybe I wasn't, now I think about these feelings were kind of silly, but they were real feelings at the time that I was, didn't feel like I was man enough, a real man. I wasn't going to have my own children. Never really dealt with the issues with my cousin and the loss of my best friend. Megan, my wife, had prayed for me a lot through this process, and it had really taken a big toll on our marriage, and things were not going all that well, and we weren't really talking about it. And she really got on her knees one day and prayed while I was at work, and the Holy Spirit really worked. God, just consumed me, and I picked up I went on a website that day for the Baptist Children's Home and checked out the Pathways Counseling link. I knew about it because I was on the board at Riverbend Family Ministries, and we had a Pathways office there. But I always thought that was something for somebody else with major problems, and it wasn't something that I needed. So I picked up the phone, and they were really gracious and said, well, yeah, we'd like to schedule a meeting, and we can even schedule it at Riverbend Family Ministries. We have an office there really close to your house. And of course, for me, I wanted a little more confidentiality. I knew everyone in that office that worked there, and so they were very gracious there, and they set me up with a meeting in another town that was close. It was actually the town I worked in at a church, and I was able to have some meetings with a counselor who was just amazing. And I would say I was nervous and prideful about going into that meeting. I still didn't really think that I needed this, but I knew I needed to, I wanted to please my wife, and I know, in the back of my mind, I know I needed to do something. So I went to my first counseling session, and my therapist or counselor, whatever his title is, was just incredible. My fears and my qualms were immediately put at ease. And it was just two guys, talking, and he was asking me lots of questions, and it was just like two guys hanging out and having a conversation. And I didn't even realize all the things that he was digging into with me. And we would meet once a week, and we did this for several months. And it really unlocked a lot of emotions that I had suppressed for years, some of them all the way back to my teenage years. And it was just incredible how much of a difference that made in my life. And I was able to share things with my wife and really come to touch with emotions. And these are, there's a stigma for guys especially, that we're not supposed to get in touch with our emotions, or, man, if you're going to therapy, you must be really messed up or you're weak. But I'm here to tell you that it was one of the best things I've ever done in my life, was go through the Pathways Counseling. I encourage everybody, if you're dealing with any kind of issue, whether you're embarrassed of it, or if it's something that you're afraid to share with someone else, or if it's something that you are, but you just feel like you need someone else to talk to. Pathways is an awesome place. You're going to get biblical therapy sessions. He's not whipping open a Bible and reading off Bible verses and lecturing you, but it is surrounded in prayer at the beginning and end of each counseling session. So what Pathways did for my life, I can't thank my counselor enough, and I'm just so grateful that service was there.